which contraceptive method we have taught you. I think this hormonal we have finished, no?
Yes, ma'am.
I think we have finished till this. So barrier method I have taught you? No, na? Okay, let's start from barrier method. So barrier method is usually the main aim.
Natural contraception मा पुगेको थियो.
Let's come to natural contraception. So natural contraception is you don't need to use any medication or device, and usually natural contraceptive method is not considered to be a good one because its failure rate is very high. And among the natural contraception, irregular cycles because you don't know when patient will be ovulating and she can conceive. So another method is temperature reading. This the main logic of following this method is as soon as ovulation occurs, there is increase in progesterone, and progesterone level when there is increase, it will increase the body temperature of a lady from 0.5 to 1 degree centigrade. So daily patient has to, in the morning she has to take temperature, and then once ovulation occurs, she start having rise of temperature, and she should maintain abstinence till third day of increased temperature. So as soon as she ovulates, she'll have increased temperature, and even after till 3 days of increased temperature, she has to have abstinence. So this is the temperature reading, and mucus reading is the logic is during follicular phase of the menstrual cycle, that is initial 14 days, Because of the increase of estrogen, the mucus will be abundant and then it will be stretchy. So she has to see the discharge, mucus discharge from the vagina, and then see how much mucus she is having. Okay, and the mucus become very stretchy during the first 14 days. So she has to maintain abstinence from menstruation till the days of noticeable mucus and 3 days more. So around from the first day of menstruation till 18-19 days, she has to have abstinence. Here also in temperature reading also she has to have abstinence till 18 to 19 days. So basically these natural contraceptive or reading method usually tells you to have abstinence from the first day of menstruation till 18-19 days. So almost 20 days the couple has to have maintain abstinence. So this is not good method for those patients who has got who are very young and then they have frequent sexual act. So those couple who have 40 plus who have very infrequent intercourse, they can follow this method, but still it has got very high failure rate. And among the natural contraceptive method, coitus interruptus is also a very popular method. It is oldest and most widely accepted, requires self-control and no cost and high failure rate. So this is also another way usually a couple they follow. And lactational amenorrhea is another method. During lactation, patient can adopt this method as a contraceptive method till 6 months of lactation, just after delivery till 6 months of lactation. And this method can be used in those areas where contraceptive methods are not available, and there should be certain criteria where this method can be used. Exclusive breastfeeding should be there. So she cannot even give water or any formula milk during this period, and she should not have menstruation in between. Okay, she should have lactational amenorrhea, she should have exclusive breastfeeding. If these two criteria are and till 6 months she can follow this method. So if these two criteria and till 6 months she can follow this method, and the failure rate is only 2%. So in villages, in those remote area where contraceptive methods is not available, this is a quite good one. Okay, provided the certain criteria are fulfilled. Okay, now let's come to sterilization. It is a permanent type of contraceptive method where it is very difficult to reverse back. And whenever you are counseling for the patient for sterilization, patients should be counseled about these points, important points. Okay, so you have to tell the couple who have come for sterilization that it is a permanent procedure. Reversing the method is very difficult. It is almost impossible. And you have to, during the counseling, you have to assess the relation of the couple. If their relation is not good, they are finally going to be separated, or there is some problem with the couple. This is not a good one, because if they remarry, reversal of the method is not possible. And some ladies, they think that it is treatment for some gynae problems such as heavy menstruation or other gynae problems. So you should tell them that this is not a solution for gynae problems, and you have to counsel about the procedure, the failure rate, and side effects. And another important point you should counsel is which among the couple, which one will be having the sterilization. Usually, if both the couple are healthy, male sterilization is preferred one, because it has got least side effect and least complications and easy method. So vasectomy is the choice choice if the male partner is ready to undergo vasectomy. Otherwise, both of them, among the two, anyone can undergo the procedure. But if you are considering about the complication and side effects and the easiness of the procedure, vasectomy is easier. And continue other contraceptive. If patient undergoes vasectomy, she has to, the couple has to have a contraceptive method for 2 to 3 months extra, because the sperm in the seminiferous tubules, they are already formed, and then during ejaculation in the semen, till 3 months the semen and the sperm can be found. So if patient undergoes vasectomy, patient has to have extra other alternative contraceptive methods such as condom for 3 more months. Okay. Now let's come to the male sterilization, that is vasectomy. The failure rate is very less. Among the all contraceptive method, the failure rate is only 0.01%. So its failure rate is very less, and usually fast is ligated. Fast difference is ligated, or it can be occluded with clips or with diaphragm. And instead of ligation, nowadays in the newer method is percutaneous injection of sclerosing agent. This will have a fibrotic effect in around the vas when the injection is applied, and then ultimately the vas will be occluded. And I have already said that the advantage of vasectomy is it is simpler. When you compare with the female tubal ligation, it is simpler, shorter, and it is very short procedure. An outdoor basis, patient even don't need to be admitted, and less complication, decreased failure rate, and decreased expenditure. Usually these procedures are free in our country. If you go to the health post or government institution, it is free. But even private, this is very cheap procedure, and drawback is very less. But additional contraceptive method has to be used for 2 to 3 months, because the sperm is already formed in the seminiferous tubules, and complications are also very less when we compare with the female sterilization. Hematoma, bruise, rarely hematoma can be presented, or bruise, infections, sperm granuloma, spontaneous recanalization. These are also very rare, but these are certain side effect complications of this procedure. Anti-sperm antibody, atherosclerosis. Some scientists or researchers, they say that it produces atherosclerosis in the vessels, but this is just an assumption. I don't think it occurs. And prostate cancer, testicular cancer are also very remote side effects. It is not proven yet, but some scientists, they say that it can cause these cancers. So nowadays, non-scalpel vasectomy is done in our country. Non-scalpel means you don't need to use any blade. The instrument is available which will puncture the skin and then in the scrotum, and then it will goes inside the vas and it will ligate itself. So just a puncture and the work is done. So this is a very short procedure and with least complication, non-scalpel vasectomy. It was started from China, and then even in our country, this procedure is available. And this procedure, the advantage is you don't need any skin incision. And after the procedure, just a tape is applied there. You don't need to apply suture in the scrotum. So this is the advantage of non-scalpel vasectomy. Success procedure verified by 2 samples with abstinence sperm. So after the procedure, at 12 weeks and 16 weeks, semen analysis is done, and there should not be sperm in the semen. So after 14 weeks, after 2 samples of semen, then only they can stop using condom. Okay, now let's come to female sterilization. Time of operation, usually in the just after delivery of the baby, within 48 hours she can undergo sterilization. It is postpartum sterilization. So the advantage of postpartum sterilization is recovery of the puerperium and operation at the same time. See, she just has undergone a very difficult experience of delivering of the baby, and the recovery of the puerperium and recovery after operation can be done at the same time. So it has got advantage. And another time where we can do sterilization is interval after 45 days of delivery. So within 48 hours, if you do it, then she has to wait for 45 days. That is known as interval. And another time where we can do sterilization in female is concurrent with MTP. So this means just during abortions also, at the same procedure you can do sterilization or suction evacuation. Termination of the pregnancy, she can undergo at the same sitting. The method is abdominal and vaginal. Vaginal nowadays it is absolute, we don't do nowadays abdominal. It can be done by small incision in the abdomen, that is mini laparotomy around 2 to 3 centimeter, and another way is laparoscopy. So nowadays laparoscopy operation is coming up, and it is very popular operations nowadays because it is non-invasive. So even during the tubectomy, you can do laparoscopy with least complication and very short procedure. Okay. Laparoscopic sterilization is associated with very least complications, and immediate complications are during the operation: visceral damage, gas embolism, thromboembolisms, and wound infection. These are the some complications during the operation, and mortality is also very less, 8 per 1 lakh operations. So this is a very safe operations, although these complications can occur sometimes, and then it also depends upon the efficiency of the surgeons. Okay, a surgeon who has just start doing laparoscopy, they can face these complications, and those surgeons who are used to laparoscopic surgeon, these complications they don't face so much. Okay, and long-term complications are bowel obstruction due to the adhesions and incision hernia. If the incision that is applied during laparoscopic surgery is not sutured properly. And female sterilization can be done by ligation, that is known as Pomeroy's method. It can be done during electrocautery, and ring can also be applied to the fallopian tube, that is known as fallop ring, and clips, Halka, Filsi, these are the very popular clips that can be applied in the tubes, fallopian tubes, and laser, carbon dioxide laser or nitrogen gas laser. These can be used for the ligation of the sterilization, and these method can be done either by laparoscopy or by doing mini laparoscopy, mini laparotomy. Okay. Now let's come to the intrauterine device. So intrauterine device, the classifications are non-medicated, medicated, and hormone containing. Non-medicated, previously non-medicated contraceptive device was used, that is known as Lippes loop. It is that of shape of S. Okay, so this is just a metallic structure that is kept in the uterus, and it will, because of the mechanical effect, it prevent pregnancy. This is not a very good one because of the metallic structure in the uterus. It causes dysmenorrhea and menorrhagia. So Nowadays, this method is absolute. We don't use it. It used to be used before. Nowadays, the popular contraceptive intrauterine device is copper T. This is the copper T. This is the device which is available, freely available in our country, and this number denotes the surface area that contains copper. And copper T380 is also available in our country. And multi-load 375 and 250, they used to be available in our country. Nowadays, it is not there, but still these are method that is used in other countries. Hormone containing, that is Progestat or Mirena. Another name that contains hormone containing are Mirena. Progestat is also another one. So it contains levonorgestrel intrauterine device. Total, the device contains total 52 milligram of levonorgestrel, and daily 20 microgram per day it is secreted in the body. And because of this secretion of the levonorgestrel 20 microgram, it will produce the contraceptive method. And the mode of action of contraceptive device, intrauterine contraceptive device, that is copper T, is foreign body reaction. Since there is foreign body in the uterus, it will create foreign body reaction, and because of the copper containing, it will the copper will produce spermicidal effect, and copper will produce foreign body reaction, which will lead to cytokines secretion, and these cytokines are cytotoxic. And cytotoxic means it is cytotoxic to sperm. And cytokine will produce increased macrophage, leukocytes, and prostaglandin, and that all these factors will have toxic effect to the sperm transport also. So overall, for the mechanism of action of copper T is it has got foreign body reaction, which will have chemical effect and spermicidal effect, and also because of secretion of cytokine, cytotoxic macrophage and leukocytes and prostaglandin, it will have toxic effect to the sperm transport. So transportation of the sperm is also affected, along with the spermicidal effect also will be produced. So this mode of action of copper T is very important, okay, you should know. And in the hormone containing Progestat or Mirena, because of the release of these hormone, it will have contraceptive device effect. Okay, contraindication of intrauterine copper device, intrauterine device is copper device is, since the copper T or device is inside the uterus, and the thread is outside the cervix. So the chance of PID in those patients who are having this intrauterine device is very high. So already the chance of increased incidence of PID is high, so you cannot use this device in those patients who are having recurrent PID or suffering from PID at that point. And since it will produce abnormal uterine bleeding or menorrhagia or irregular menstruation, so those patients who are having abnormal uterine bleeding also, this device is contraindicated. And distortion of the shape of the uterine cavity. So a patient who is having congenital malformation of uterine cavity also, you cannot use this device, such as unicornate uterus, Didelphys, or those patients who has got adhesion in the uterine cavity, which is also known as Asherman syndrome. You cannot use this device. And Wilson disease is those patients who has got allergic to copper. So those patients also. Previously in nulliparous women, we used to say that we cannot insert copper T, because since chance of PID is high, we cannot insert PID in nulliparous. So if there is PID in nulliparous, they will lead to infertility. Or nowadays, since we are using very aseptic method of insertion of intrauterine device, so even in nulliparous women, we can nowadays we can advise copper T. So time of insertion, just after delivery of the baby, during the delivery of the baby also you can insert copper T. During cesarean section, during that procedure only we can insert copper T. And just after abortion also you can insert copper T. And anytime in a female who has menstruation, okay, first week of menstruation we can insert copper T. And method of insertion is see this method, this copper T insertion is a OPD procedure. You don't need to insert it in a operation theater. So it is a OPD procedure, and patient has to be kept in dorsal position. Betadine is used to clean the vagina, and then the vulva and vagina and the cervix, and with the aseptic method, there are two tubes in this. Two tubes in the copper T. The outer is known as plunger. So the plunger, and then the plunger is outside, and then the tube is inside, and copper T is inserted like this inside the tube, and it is slowly inserted till the fundus like this. And the outer plunger is withdrawn like this. Okay, when the outer plunger is withdrawn, the copper T which is inside the tube which is inside, it will be separated from the tube, and it will plunge, and it will spring, and then it will stay in the fundus like this. You have to come to OPD to see how it is inserted, because if I explain like this also, it is very difficult to understand for you. You just need to know that nowadays it is withdrawal method. Previously, plunge-in method used to be used during the insertion. Nowadays, since plunge-in method is associated with perforation and trauma to the uterus, so we use withdrawal method nowadays, and then the outer tube is withdrawn, and the copper T which is inserted in the inner tube, it will spring, and then it will stay in the fundus like this. Okay, when the outer tube is withdrawn like this. Okay, so it is a withdrawal method. This is it. So I have taught all the devices, and then these are some pictures of the contraceptive method. This is oral contraceptive method, and it will be in the packet, it will be kept like this, and then you just have to follow the tablet. There will be arrow marks, and then you just have to follow the marks, so that patient doesn't get confused which tablet she will take the next day. And this is the progesterone only pills. She has to take the pills daily, one after another, without any gap. This I have already taught you. Emergency pills also I have already explained to you. And this is the Depo-Provera. You have to take the injectable every 3 months. The important advantage of this method is 3 monthly you just have to take one injection, and then the failure rate is very less, and it is quite effective method. And this is implant, this is not Implanon. So single one, this capsule is single one, and the Norplant which is available in our country has 6 capsules. So according to the duration you need contraceptive, you can either have 1 implant or 3 implant. 3 implant is Jadel, and then 6 capsule containing implant, that is Norplant. And this is the intrauterine device. Since these threads are outside the surface, During insertion, the chance of infection is very high. It can cause white discharge and PID. So during the insertion, the aseptic method is very important when you are inserting this intrauterine device, and this is the barrier method condom. You should remember that along with the contraceptive device, it prevents STI and cancer of the cervix. So you should remember when you are studying a contraceptive method, barrier method is, especially the male barrier method is very important because it prevents STI. STI such as gonorrhea and chlamydia and PID, and then it prevents cancer because barrier will prevent the human papilloma virus infection, and human papilloma virus infection is the etiology of CA cervix. That is why it prevents this. And these are sponge and then jelly, which is used along with barrier method, spermicidal containing gel. So along with these two methods, the effectivity, the failure rate becomes very less. And this is multi-load intrauterine device. And these are the natural methods. This is the temperature and temperature method. Okay, this is it, students. Okay, you have any query?